Good Friday morning, everybody. This is the Iceman, the man with the plan, the man with the knowledge, the man with the wrestling news on the Iceman's Return YouTube channel. And oh, what a show we saw by TNA last night, Destination X. All I gotta say is, if you're a WWE fan and you have hate on TNA, this was a show last night, and TNA gets better every week. They've been doing this as of late, and their wrestling in the ring far exceeds what is going on in the ring of the other promotion. That's all I've got to say. But anyway, Destination X last night was superb. It was excellent. It was spectacular. I can't wait for next week. I'm not much for real detail. I haven't got a chance to watch too many videos because it's going to be a very busy day for me. But anyway, the show opens up. We saw Austin Aries earlier in the day in the ring, and he was talking about his match with Bobby Lashley, and he said he will become once again the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. A good promo there, okay? So anyhow, the show really basically started off with Dixieland coming out, and the balls were given to Ethan Carter III, who really actually showed some authority last night. Basically, introducing his people. We obviously had Rhino, who is the mercenary. He has an army of extreme, he calls it. And they had put an offer to Bully Ray, Tommy Dreamer, and Devon. And they are awaiting the response of this offer. EC3 wants to end this. He wants to destroy Bully Ray. And we just have to wait for the response. But it was a very, very good promo by EC3. He's finally getting the balls that, the guy is a good wrestler. And I really don't understand why he hasn't really been pushed further than what he has. But they're using the gimmick of him being the nephew of Dixie Carter. But anyway, X Division matches tonight. There are 3. I call them fatal 3-ways. There are 3 X Division qualifying matches where each winner of each 3 match will face off next week on TNA Impact Wrestling. And I'll tell you, the first one really, really caught my eye. And but we'll get to that shortly, because starting off the show, believe it or not, was the Hardy Boys. Jeff and Matt Hardy reuniting for the first time in how many years? They haven't had a title for 7 years, and they're reuniting again tonight. And it just, to me, was one of those things that was pretty damn awesome. And anyway, they're facing the TNA World Heavyweight Champions, the Wolves, in what we all thought was going to be a great match. Now, I predicted the Hardy Boys were going to win this match. Now, out of the 5 matches last night, I had 3 right and 2 wrong, and this was one of them, unfortunately. But I'm going to tell you something. Watching the Hardy Boys and the Wolves, both teams very, very similar. Old school Hardy Boys, the new school Wolves. Eddie Edwards, Davey Richards, Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy gave it their all. And there were so many close pinfalls in this match. I mean, the twist of fate, the swanton bomb, we saw everything. It was phenomenal. This match, I mean, I'm sitting at the edge of my seat watching it. And, it's one of those matches where you have a slight team you're rooting for, but regardless of the outcome, whoever won, it was okay, because these are two teams that are so similar, and it was a great tag team match. But unfortunately for the Hardy Boys, the Wolves, who are the present day TNA World Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, were just a little bit better, and they ended up outmaneuvering the Hardy Boys. But I'll tell you, this was one phenomenal match, and at the end, they all shook hands, a show of respect. I loved it. This was really, really great. Now, the next match on Destination X was a TNA X Division title tournament semifinals. And I'm going to tell you something. Having X Division back in TNA with the six-sided ring, phenomenal. Because, let's face it, TNA was based around the X Division, and it's the most exciting matches to watch. We saw Low Key versus DJZ, Zima Ion, and Manic. And this was, to me, of the three matches for the X Division qualifier, was the best of them all. Low Key coming back to TNA. We all know about Zima Ion. All three former X Division champions. Beautiful, beautiful played out match. I mean, this match went back and forth. Everybody, again, gave it their all. I mean, DJZ a little cocky at times. Manic, the usual man, just getting down to business. And Low Key, the guy that with a lot of experience and adversity in the ring. You know, any one of these guys had an opportunity to come out on top of this match. But in the long run, I had a feeling Low Key was going to come out on top. And I was right. I predicted Low Key to win, and he won via pinfall with the Key Crusher. It was great. Low Key ended up pinning Manic. Excellent X Division match. I mean, I loved it. So, anyway, moving on, we saw Sonata, where they showed the highlights where he turned on the Great Muta. And of course, James Storm is now his new mentor, supposedly. And it's sort of like changed the attitude of Sonata, who once was a babyface, is now sort of like the heelish type. But anyway, the second of the X Division title tournament semifinals, we see Sonata against Brian Cage, who last time I saw him was on Gut Check. I forgot about this guy. This guy is built to the hill. He faces Crazy Steve, and we saw the Menagerie come out, the Freak, Rebel, Knox. And this match, I picked Sonata to win, but as I'm watching this match go on, I'm saying to myself, is it possible? I didn't think Crazy Steve was going to win at all. I didn't think he had a shot. But watching Brian Cage in early going, he just dominated everything. It was just awesome. And so I actually thought for a moment there that Brian Cage was going to end up coming out on top. But in the end, Sonata ended up doing the Tiger Suplex on Steve, and he got the pin. But another great X Division match. And this is what you got to love, So anyway, moving on, Bobby Roode was in the back. He was praising Austin Aries. He told Aries when Aries defeated him, a couple years ago and got the TNA World Heavyweight title, that it really wasn't a fluke. And I think that was a thing that Austin Aries took to heart. He was really happy about this. And, and Roode congratulated Aries and wished him luck for the night. Up next, we saw Bully Ray, Devon, and Tommy Dreamer come out in response to Ethan Carter. That was a great promo. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. Tommy Dreamer cut one of his best promos that I've ever seen him do. There was a lot of huge ECW chants. And This was one of those promos that you didn't mind because you knew it had a lot of importance. And what it did end up being, where Ethan Carter and the group that he's in with Dixie accepted it. Next week, 8-man hardcore match, which is going to be phenomenal. So TNA is, Spike TV, you want to drop TNA, they're the highest rated show on your channel. Man, you better think twice, dudes. But anyway, so we saw Samoa Joe talking to Kurt Angle afterwards, and Kurt congratulating Joe and wishing him luck, and he's involved in the next X Division title semifinal match. But we also saw later on, the beautiful people, Angelina Love and Velvet Sky. I guess they had to get them on there one way or another. It was very much, to me, a very meaningless promo, but it's okay. It really didn't matter. So anyway, we get to the next TNA X Division title tournament semifinals. Samoa Joe, the Samoa Submission Machine, versus the notorious 1.8.7 Homicide Returns. How great was that? Versus Tigre Uno. This was a pretty damn good match too. And something, I haven't seen Homicide in quite some time. And I was thinking, because I picked Joe to win, and I was thinking to myself, well, I really wouldn't mind it if Homicide won, because I haven't seen him in so long, and I forgot how really good he is. It was a good match. But something? Samoa Joe, the bigger of the three guys there, size-wise and whatnot, you sort of had to give him the advantage, and he ended up really taking care of everything with the Muscle Buster on Homicide, and Samoa Joe ended up defeating and winning the semifinal match. It was great. To me, it was great. So now we come up to the TNA World Heavyweight Championship match. Austin Aries, who turned in his X Division title last week for Option C to face Bobby Lashley. And I knew this was going to be a really good match. I enjoyed this so much. And I'll be honest with you, without reading spoilers, it makes you wonder sometimes. You hear a lot of rumors from people and whatnot, but my heart wanted Austin Aries, but my head said Bobby Lashley, and this was a great match. This was totally a great match. Austin Aries, the much littler guy, against Bobby Lashley, put on a clinic last night, and so did Bobby Lashley. But in the long run, Lashley ended up getting the spear on Austin Aries after Aries went out of the ring after Lashley. Lashley moved out of the way. Aries ran in to the rail posts outside the ring. Oh, God. What a great night of professional wrestling. I just want to add this, though. Abyss and Brahm had a promo. Monsters Ball match next week, as well as the 8-man tag hardcore. It's going to be phenomenal, but I have to say this. I don't care what anybody says. TNA last night was a superb, phenomenal show. If you haven't seen it, please watch it. Don't base an opinion if you haven't seen the show, because for me, I enjoyed every single minute of the show. I'm not great for segments, but every segment that was on that show last night was meaningful. This is the Iceman on the Iceman's Return YouTube channel. Peace out, everybody, and have yourself a great Friday.